Part 83. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 850. This elf battle with the elf gym leader is really impossible to carry out. Since it was Tilianina, the fairy gym leader of the polar bear country, who sent a battle letter to Yayan, the fairy gym leader of the Chinese country, this was a matter of a battle between the gym leaders and fairies of the two countries and regions. This aspect is definitely more important than Yang Yu's challenge. Coupled with the elf battle with Yang Yu's elf, the elf of Dragon Gym leader Yun Zhenfei is a lesson learned. Although the gym has the top elf medical care in the country, if you suffer a serious injury, you still need a few more days of training. At the level of super evolution, the power of the elves' moves may be beyond ordinary imagination, and the damage caused to the elves will be much greater. As the showdown with Polar Bear Country Fairy Gym leader Tilianina approaches, Gym leader Yayan will naturally not fight against Yang Yu. Old witch, you have to fight seriously, Yun Zhenfei said with a smile. It's impossible to fight against Yang Yu in an elf battle, but with you, it's still very easy. Have you thought about it today, Master Yun? If not, maybe I can help you, Master Yun said. Yayan hugged Jigglypuff on her knees, and then gently stroked the ice cream hair on Jigglypuff's head. Yun Zhenfei didn't take it seriously either. The friendship between him and Yayan's this generation of gym leaders was not just based on the surface. They were life and death friends who had fought through the storms along the way. Yun Zhenfei will never forget the dangers in the secret realm of Sky City more than 20 years ago. Yang Yu, if you can't fight the fairy gym here, you can go to other countries and regions to fight. What, you have already been to Sakura country? If you have a chance, you can go to Western Europe to have a look. Of course, in the end, it's better to hit the fairy gyms in North America, Yun Zhenfei said calmly. Master Yun, it seems you are still very sober. This is a good idea. We can't fight domestic fairy gyms for the time being, so you can go fight foreign ones. Yayan gave gym leader Yun a thumbs up and continued with a smile. He said, it seems that summer vacation is coming soon. Yang Yu, you probably won't be able to participate in this summer's World Masters. If you can't beat it, you will be banned. The operation in North America is normal. Esports in the elf world is still very marketable. Whether it is a contestant or the contestant's elf, in short, you can participate after obtaining a competitive license. The words of the gym owner Yayan are still very down to earth. Old witch, have you been playing games again recently? Yun Zhenfei knew there was something weird in it as soon as he heard it. Why didn't you call me while you were playing games? Cough cough cough. Yayan coughed a few times, then stretched out her hand to cover her face. You are too weak to carry me. Yun Zhenfei. Yang Yu. This is very real. For Yayan, exposure to things that young people like is also a way to stay young, and esports is naturally indispensable among them. Shark TV on the external network, the owner Yayan. It seems that there is a super noble account with full level. That's too far-fetched. Since Yang Yu can't hit their talented trainers in North America, you can always hit their gym. If you can't bully this young man, just bully their old man. You can save a lot of money. When the time comes to beat the young ones and the old ones come, just beat the old ones first. Under the confusion of Yang Yu and Yun Zhenfei, Yayan, the fairy gym leader, became louder and louder, and her tone became more and more excited, and then the character seems to be starting to fall apart a bit. Seemingly seeing the dazed expressions of Yang Yu and Yun Zhenfei, the owner Yayan gradually realized that her tone seemed a bit, so what? Yayan gently picked up the teacup and took a sip, as if nothing had happened just now, and gestured, you too, drink tea, the tea will be cold later. 1 second the words were like a violent storm, and the next second they were calm and calm. Yang Yu admired him in his heart, extremely admired him. Old witch, you are still you. You haven't been this excited for a long time, right? Yoon Jianfei thought for a while, as if he had returned to the time when he first met the junior trainer Ye Yan. Indeed, he was also so energetic. He is no longer young, but his majesty grows with age. Some things cannot be forgotten. Ye Yan's movement of holding the tea suddenly stagnated, then she put it down gently, holding Jigglypuff in her arms and began to slowly rock. Actually, I saw the news that Yang Yu defeated the King Dwight in the secret realm of the Sky City on Mount Fuji. At that moment, there was an indescribable relief in my heart. When the secret realm of Sky City was opened more than 20 years ago, many trainers and their elves stayed there forever. It's a pity that Master Yoon and I didn't have the strength like you at that time. Bowling. Jigglypuff raised his head and reached out to support the chin of the owner Ye Yan, who was holding him. It's really good now, everything is fine, everything is getting better. In short, if you want to fight in gyms in other countries and regions, go ahead and fight. For normal and formal challenges, if there is a country or region in the world that you can choose, if they refuse to fight, their gym will have no prestige at all. Yang Yu may have some understanding in his heart. The destroyed mirror lake in the secret realm of Sky City more than 20 years ago caused countless disasters in the secret realm of Sky City. The creator of disaster. Everything is based on your ideas. We also heard about your choice to hide King Slow's strength in the Elf Alliance before. Young people today are really much stronger than those of our time. Ye Yan immediately waved her hand and apologized sincerely. Sorry, I added some of my personal emotions. Master Ye, it's okay, I have planned to go to North America for a walk, and I have arranged to go there after I finish teaching this semester. Now that I think about it, I may have to go ahead of time. Yanjing Elf University has academic cooperation with the top elf universities in North America. If Yang Yu leads a team to North America through the school's academic exchanges, his status as a professor can still provide a lot of convenience. Plans really can't keep up with changes. Yang Yu also didn't expect that he originally planned to find the nightmare god Darkrai during the summer vacation, but he didn't know that Darkrai himself would come to visit. Darkrai makes me angry. Darkrai in the shadow really wanted to push Yang Yu into a dark hole and let him reflect on how to speak human words. Considering that Yang Yu was probably not a human, Darkrai thought about it and decided not to. It's like Master Ji going to various areas to start new adventures and getting new gym badges at the same time. In Yang Yu's plan, at least during the 4 years of college, he must visit North America, Western Europe, and the Polar Bear Country, the 3 areas where trainers gather. It's a pity that the good man from Polar Bear Country. What is the name of the wealthy man who gave Yang Yu a commemorative ball? Master Ye, in this case, I have a small request. Speaking. I want to let my elf dream demon learn the fairy type move Magic Shine first, and then, I want to take this Jigglypuff to travel with me, Yang Yu said seriously. What? What? Bowling. Ye Yan and Yoon Jianfei, the 2 Huaguo gym leaders, never thought that Yang Yu's request would actually be this. Magic Shine is actually not a problem. In fact, if Yang Yu wants it, the Elf Alliance will directly give him a learning machine. If he learns the moves in the fairy gym, it will be easier to master the moves, because the trainer who teaches the Magic Shine moves and the elf is Ye Yan, the owner of the hall. Only. How could Yang Yu fall in love with such a fat guy? Even Jigglypuff never thought that he would actually be noticed by a trainer. See. The little dream monster will not reject new friends now, and Jigglypuff can also sing the songs that the little dream monster likes to listen to. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 851. Not just the 2 gym leaders, when the news that trainer Yang Yu wanted to take Jigglypuff, who was born with a vocal cord defect, on a trip was conveyed to the entire fairy gym through Yan 11's mouth. Almost all the resident trainers felt a little weird. Especially the female trainers outside who wanted to see Yang Yu up close. When they heard the news, they even started to look at each other. That is why To talk about a very realistic and true topic, generally, very few trainers would choose an elf with a natural defect as their elf partner. This Jigglypuff is both unfortunate and lucky. Unfortunately, it was born with a vocal cord defect, but fortunately, it was born in a fairy gym. Among so many Jigglypuffs in the fairy gym, why did you choose such a Jigglypuff who was born with a flaw? With Yang Yu's current strength, there is no need to choose such an elf as his elf partner. Is it just to show your compassion? Hu Jing and Lily Ying, who were not far away from these trainers, also learned of Professor Yang Yu's decision. But compared with these resident trainers who have never seen the world, both of them have a tacit understanding and unwavering trust in Professor Yang Yu's choice. Although the two of them were surprised inside, but Professor Yang Yu can train a mini dragon to master the three powerful moves of Jet Flame, Freezing Beam, and 100,000 volts. So what if a Jigglypuff is born with defects? Perhaps it is precisely because of the defects that he can manifest. Professor Yang Yu is extraordinary in elf cultivation. As for those who want to show compassion, is it necessary? They were afraid that they didn't know what Professor Yang Yu did for a living in the first place, and Lily Ying knew this best. When I first met Professor Yang Yu in the national competition, Professor Yang Yu was still a young trainer who had just emerged. Lily Ying investigated Professor Yang Yu's family background and past. Therefore, only then did Lily Ying understand how difficult it was for Professor Yang Yu to achieve the step-by-step. It is precisely because of these experiences that Professor Yang Yu himself is a trainer full of sunshine and positive energy, and does not need to show his sympathy at all. Because there is no need at all. Hu Jing didn't know as much as Lily Ying, but after 2 or 3 months of working as a teaching assistant, her understanding of Professor Yang Yu had basically reached the God stage. God said that if he wanted to cultivate this Jigglypuff, he would be able to cultivate it successfully, that's all. At this time, in the glass-warmed hall, the business had basically finished talking, and the female trainers who had lined up to watch the legendary elf Yang Yu stood cautiously on the edge. Bowly. Jigglypuff still couldn't believe it. His embarrassed hands kept rubbing his body by his side, and even some hot sweat broke out. Although it has been living here, we can also see that some external trainers can take away some partners from the fairy gym, and those partners will come back to visit every once in a while. About that time, Jigglypuff realized that there would be human trainers coming here to select elves. Those selected friends will have a brand new home. This Jigglypuff knows that the songs he sings are not good, what he does is not good, and no one may choose him, but he can still live a good life here in the fairy gym. Only Jigglypuff also wants to become a star elf that attracts much attention like the singer Jigglypuff on TV. The dream is so far away and the reality is so cruel. It's just that it didn't expect that such a day would come. A human trainer said he wanted to take him on a trip with him. Travel. Is it a concert tour? Jigglypuff knew that he might be thinking too much, but if he could think about it, that would be good too. Yang Yu felt Jigglypuff's embarrassment and gave Jigglypuff a very firm look. At the same time, the goodwill of the wave guide power communicated with Jigglypuff's thoughts. This little elf who had completely sealed himself seemed to be slightly moved. It really surprised me. I didn't expect it to be such a request. Yan, the owner of the museum, thought about it and had to admit that she couldn't figure out the reason why Yang Yu did this. She just handed Fatty to Yang Yu. She was still very relieved. The gym owner Yan continued, if it had been anyone else, I would have refused immediately. Although the conditions in the fairy gym cannot fully take care of Jigglypuff, the atmosphere and environment here can actually make Fatty happy. Ding accepted it. The owner of the hall, Yan, put her hand on Jigglypuff's head, causing Jigglypuff's trembling body to gradually calm down. Yang Yu nodded, Master Ye, this is understandable. If we go to North America this time, it may also be an opportunity to take Jigglypuff to see the North American music scene. I heard this resident trainer say before that Jigglypuff's dream it's about being a singing star. Although I don't know if I can do it, I can take this opportunity to take it with me to see the music world on the other side of the Pacific. Yan, the leader of the fairy gym, and Yun Zhenfei, the leader of the dragon gym, suddenly realized that although Yang Yu made this decision, it must be temporary. After all, it was his first time to come to the fairy gym, but Yang Yu at this point, Yan found that, she didn't seem to have any reason to refuse. In fairy gyms, these elves may still stay in the gym in the future, and of course they may also go out to see the world with other trainers. At this point, the fairy gym will let the fairies make their own choices after certain inspections. Being able to travel with Yang Yu, a legendary young trainer, is an honor for this Jigglypuff and an honor for the fairy gym. I didn't expect Professor Yang Yu to have his own attainments and research in music, which surprised me. Yan was a little surprised. After all, Yang Yu can have such incredible strength in the road of trainer. I didn't expect that he also has his own experience in other fields. A very charming young trainer. Girls will love it. Alright, not bad. Yang Yu coughed lightly and shamelessly accepted Master Yes' compliment. Darkrai, who was following Yang Yu's shadow, almost went berserk again. It really wanted to come out and talk to the gym leader, telling her not to be deceived by Yang Yu. Yang Yu's musical attainments. That means living with ghosts and ghosts with sorrow. The kind that even nightmare god Darkrai can have nightmares about. And this human trainer, wow, how can he be thicker skinned than his nightmare god, Darkrai? Darkrai has never seen such a shameless person. Poppy. Little Dream Demon and Tijipai had already stood up and began to line up to welcome them. Even Little Dream Demon and Tijipai found the mini Pokeball pendant they were carrying. Come out, Mimikyu. Come out, Frosty Milk Fairy. Wow, so cute. What kind of elf is this? Oh my god, this little elf is so cute. It also has the aura of a fairy elf, but what's its name? Two more fairy-type elves, Mimikyu and Frostmilk, also lined up next to Little Dreamer and Tijipai. Just in time, the four elves could line up to welcome Jigglypuff. This fairy elf is the Frostmilk Fairy you brought out from the secret realm of the Sky City, right? Yan's eyes lit up. She already had a copy of the information about the Frostmilk Fairy on hand, and this was what it was the first time I saw the real Frostmilk Fairy. Very cute indeed. Especially when the Frostmilk Fairy appeared, she exuded this rich smell of cream. It makes people happy when they smell it. No one can resist sweets, especially a beautiful woman. Almost instantly, Yang Yu found that Frostmilk Fairy was surrounded by these resident female trainers, and they were all chattering and discussing too enthusiastically. Yan gave Yang Yu a helpless look. There is no other serious business at the moment, and it feels very relaxing to have this kind of adjustment. Frosty Milk Fairy quickly hugged the two star candy decorations in her hair. They were so cute, and she was a little confused at the same time. Little sisters, please give way first and give this passage to Jigglypuff. The owner Yan spoke. Soon, these female trainers reluctantly got out of the way. At this moment, the owner Yan put Jigglypuff in her arms on the ground. Jiggy Ding, if you are willing to follow this trainer, go ahead. Bola. Jigglypuff turned around and looked at the amiable gym owner. He raised his head and looked at Yan 11, the trainer who had been looking for him before. He looked at all the people around him who had taken care of him and helped him more or less. It's resident trainers at the fairy gym. Come on Jigglypuff. Fatty, go quickly, be sure to work hard later. Bobby bum me. Q. Yeah. The Little Dream Demon, Tijipai, Mimikyu, and Frostmilk stood in two lines, waiting for Jigglypuff to join them. At this moment, Jigglypuff's eyes gradually became clearer, and the corners of his mouth gradually began to curve up. He blinked and looked directly in front of him at the trainer Yang Yu, who said he wanted to take him on a trip with him. The power of the waveguide communicated with Jigglypuff's emotions for the first time, and his closed heart opened at this moment. "Come on, Jigglypuff, join my team." Yang Yu didn't know why he said such a sentence, but at this moment, it was so appropriate. Bow, bow. After Yang Yu's words came out, Fatty subconsciously clenched his little hands. It has made its choice. That's one small step for Jigglypuff, one giant leap for Jigglypuff. Congratulations to Jigglypuff for joining Yang Yu's team. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 852. This time I went to the fairy gym and it can be said that I gained a lot. Sometimes, it is destined. Yang Yu has a fate with this fat little guy. In the next few days, the little dream demon will also start schooling. Every day, I come to the fairy gym with my little brother Mimikyu, who carries a small satchel, and learn the fairy moves, Magic Shine, together. Learning with a move learning machine is naturally inferior to that of the fairy gym leader Yayan, who teaches it in person with his own fairies. If you have a teacher to teach you, you will learn quickly. With a good teacher, it will be easier to master the moves. During this period of time, the fairy gymnasium also had enough time to look at the elf frost milk fairy that Yang Yu brought out from the secret realm of the Sky City. As for the newly appeared fairy-type elves, the gym also wants to know what kind of fairy-type moves the frost milk fairy has mastered. They are just studying and studying. It seems that they can only throw cream missiles. Although the flavor of this cream missile is indeed quite fragrant, this move is a bit too soft and cute. The two assistant coaches, Hu Jing and Lily Ying, also got their wish to see the grace of the Super Chinese Valentine's Day Bluebird. This is a new shock and motivation for the two of them, Tanabata Bluebird, and will also be of great help in their future journey as trainers. Before heading to North America, Yang Yu also needs to make some other preparations. Music cooperation and exchange, what is this? Professor Yang Yu's involvement, is that extensive? The application Yang Yu submitted to the school was as confusing as ever. Taking student teams to exchange with top universities in other countries and regions is a completely mutually beneficial good thing, and it is almost June, and the school's final assessment is only 3 or 4 weeks away. Professor Yang Yu's ELF battle course. The assessment is relatively simple, no test papers are required, actual combat is the best assessment. The school has also found some professors who are ready to lead the group, but considering the age of some professors, they should only bring their graduate students or doctoral students with them at most. However, a young professor like Yang Yu. Since Yang Yu took the initiative to apply, how could the school refuse? It's just this course. Hey, this is causing trouble. The students we are going to teach, how can they be from the music department? If this professor, whose strength has reached the top of gym-level trainers, doesn't take care of those top trainers in the school, what does he think of taking care of the students from the music department? Professor Yang Yu is actually so versatile. The news about Jigglypuff, the new elf brought back from the fairy gym, spread not only in a day or two, but also to Yang Yu's students, the school's professors, and even the school leaders. But aren't you all confused? But considering that Jigglypuff is a very good elf that relieves the trainer's mood, everyone can only think so. After all, the songs Jigglypuff sings are a good experience to calm the mind as long as there is no microphone. After all, the gentle singing voice and the sweet tone of the fairy elves are still very popular among trainers. Many stars on TV will raise one. Jigglypuff, who only loves to sing, is like this. But who knows? What this Jigglypuff sings is not those soothing love songs. His rough voice is not so obvious when he talks normally, but when he sings this song, it's a little hard to accept. It's just that Professor Yang Yu is still running towards the school's music club happily. How can this music club refuse Yang Yu? Maybe this is the feeling of pain and happiness. You want to take Jigglypuff to North America to engage in rock music. Well, I can't keep up with the thinking of you young trainers. I think it will take a long time for you to come back to North America this time. No matter what, the cooperation during this period has been very pleasant. After hearing Yang Yu's explanation, Principal Ludo looked strange. How could he, with his rich experience, not see that this was just an excuse for Yang Yu? But this time, Principal Ludo really misunderstood Yang Yu. Since he chose to travel with Jigglypuff, Yang Yu's focus will naturally be on the North American music scene. If he communicates as a professor of the Elf Battle Department, Yang Yu doesn't want to attract too much attention as soon as he arrives in North America. As Yayan, the fairy gym leader, said, before preparing to challenge the gym, it is better to keep a low profile. Going to the North American music scene to play music is also a good choice. Happiness is the primary purpose of Yang Yu's trip to North America. Principal, why don't you come and listen? Our Jigglypuff has made great progress recently. Yang Yu saw that Principal Ludo seemed to have doubts about the strength of Yang Yu and Jigglypuff. Of course, Yang Yu had to prove his strength. No, 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 don't do rock music in my office, let's forget it. Principal Ludo felt that his scalp was numb. Professor Xiao Yang was good at everything else, but he just liked to do big things. At that time, Professor Xiao Yang's first class at that time, I don't know how many old professors were left with tinnitus due to the loud sound and noise, and they were doing rock music alone in his principal's office. I'm getting a lot older, and my little heart can't bear it. Bowling. Jigglypuff is ready with a small microphone, but unfortunately there is no way to sing here. Sad. After Yang Yu obtained the school's permission and authorization, he began to organize the students in the school, and even wanted to go to Yanjing Conservatory of Music to find some rock geniuses. When it comes to teaching Jigglypuff to sing, Yang Yu should be more serious and responsible. He did not start with the difficult noise and loud sound moves from the beginning. Instead, he started with the most common singing in school. I asked the rock students from the music club to help. Regarding the basics of music theory, Yang Yu himself doesn't know it, but he can pretend to know it. Yayan, the leader of the fairy gym, praised Yang Yu for his attainments and research in music. Those who can rock and roll the students were naturally filled with admiration. What's more, Yang Yu is indeed versatile. If you can't sing it yourself, why don't you let Jigglypuff come? Yang Yu only needs to use the power of the wave guide to communicate with Jigglypuff, and Jigglypuff will understand what kind of effect Yang Yu wants. Do you still need Yang Yu to teach him personally? However, that's not impossible. Jigglypuff can learn any sound-based moves, this is Jigglypuff's talent. Besides, although Jigglypuff's vocal cords are unlikely to be able to sing those lyrical and sweet tunes, strong rhythmic tunes are just right for such a rough voice that can burst out from depression. Singing is a kind of power. Now that the path of Little Fatty, Queen of Sweet Songs is dead, the door to Little Fatty, Queen of Heavy Metal Rock is opening. We will rock you. Under this rhythm, singing and echoing, if Jigglypuff keeps repeating his lyrics, there will be an incredible power that condenses in Jigglypuff's heart. This is a kind of confidence. This is a hope. In the future, as long as Jigglypuff's BGM is included, no elf can defeat Jigglypuff. I hope that during this trip to North America, the trainers there won't bother me all the time. I really just want to take Jigglypuff to play in the music scene. Yang Yu had an idea. Of course, the gym still has to be fought. This can only be regarded as a side mission. The time for departure is getting closer and closer. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 853. North America. Boss, we have received the latest news. Yang Yu, the trainer from China, is going to lead a team to Hadeo to learn cooperation and exchanges. Study. Cooperate. Communicate. Do you believe this? In the North American Boston Elf Alliance, Mackinson, the president of the alliance here, snorted, the youngest quasi-king level trainer in China, what do you think he is here for? It's just for learning, cooperation, and exchanges. Flag, there must be other conspiracies. Boss is wise, Trainer George replied repeatedly, Boss, you are right. We found that this quasi-king level trainer from China does have other arrangements. Tell me, is he going to come to us to find some secret place, or is he coming to search for some precious elf props? Mackensen picked up the teacup, crossed his legs, and found a comfortable position, ready to drink tea. Boss, no, he is a rock music lover. He came to North America this time to participate in the August Heat Trainer Rock competition. Puff. Mackinson took a sip of tea and sprayed it out of his mouth instantly as if he had used the water cannon move. Cough 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 cough, you, what did you say? Are you kidding? Boss, I'm not joking. After a thorough analysis, our professional information search and analysis personnel have come to a unified conclusion that Yang Yu from China is indeed coming to participate in the Heat Trainer program in August. Rock contest. Mackinson didn't have time to clean up the messy table, so he took the report directly from George's hand. The above data is so clear that it can even simulate Yang Yu's specific itinerary in the future, but, isn't this too clear? Needless to say, there must be something wrong here. The top leaders of the North American Elf Alliance have always felt that they are superior to others, and believe that their thinking must be the most correct, especially when looking at trainers from other regions. In their countries, most of them have a feeling that there are always unscrupulous people who want to harm me, a sense of delusion. They don't want others to think, what they want is self-thinking. Even if the judgment they make is wrong, they will look for various reasons to prove that their decision is correct. Yang Yu's trip to North America this time was indeed clearly arranged, without any cover-up at all. In this itinerary map calculated through the Metagross big data of the North American Computing Center, it is completely put on the table, and there seems to be nothing suspicious about it. Precisely because there is nothing suspicious, it is extremely suspicious to Mackinson, the president of the Boston Elf Alliance. Even though this itinerary indicates that Yang Yu may challenge gyms in North America, why is the first gym he challenges, why is it a fairy gym? The fairy gym is not that far away from Boston. It basically spans half of North America. If Yang Yu wants to challenge the gym, there is a super gym near Haifa. Why should he choose the distance? George, when the Huaguo school team arrives in Haifa, report to me immediately. No one should be missing at that time. I would like to see what Yang Yu is hiding. Mackensen narrowed his eyes. Boss, I have something I don't know whether to say or not. George was a little confused. He looked at Yang Yu's big data schedule with a strange expression on his face. When did this happen? Tell me, Mackensen said impatiently. Boss, how do I feel? This Yang Yu seems to have really come to our place to participate in the Heat Rock music competition. This fairy gym is not far from the competition place, and I feel, he is just like spawning monsters. Just like that, I just beat up the fairy gym. Mackinson. This George has a problem with his thinking. Where are we? This is North America. How can the fairy gym be so easy to fight? Are the fairy gym leaders just like paper and can be beaten by just any trainer? Quasi-Celestial King is indeed powerful, but the fairy gym leader also has elves that have reached the level of Quasi-Celestial King. As for that Gyarados that was rumored at the beginning of the new year and was charging up electricity. Some of the charming moves of fairies are not easy to block, and there are even some moves that can easily cause confusion among the elves. Just imagine, the more powerful the elf is, the greater the possibility of causing harm to itself once it falls into a state of chaos. George, did you download the dungeon again last night? Mackensen smoothed his hair. Fortunately, the hairline was not as bald as it was before, and was still quite thick. George, the director of the Elf Alliance, concealed his expression in embarrassment. He didn't know why, but looking at the big data schedule of Chinese trainer Yang Yu, it felt like a dungeon. There were main tasks and side tasks. The main task was to participate in the rock music competition, and the side task was to fight in the gym. It looked like just Nima is outrageous. It must be my imagination. How could it be a copy? If you really want to download a dungeon, the dungeon in North America will be at least nightmare level. Is it really that easy to download? George shook his head. I must have downloaded the dungeon with the group last night for too long. At this time, China ushered in the morning of a new day. From the beginning of May to the beginning of June, Yang Yu's life was basically very stable. Nothing big happened, just like a very ordinary office worker. In the morning, the little dream monsters were sent to go to the fairy gymnasium to go to school. Yang Yu also followed at the fairy gymnasium, and occasionally went to the school to deal with things. In the afternoon, the little dream monsters were taken care of here. The entire fairy gym is full of joy and joy. The fairies are playing here and having a great time. The PK between Yang Yu and the frog is still going on these days. Yang Yu could only accept such a strange bond. Fortunately, it was not only a 1v1 battle, but also a PK where he could interact with the frog by building blocks and making handmade tools. Of course, the PK method of a real man is also possible. That's rock paper scissors. Yang Yu wanted to be lazy in training, but the frog didn't allow it. He must have a running race with Yang Yu that was at least 5 kilometers away. Yang Yu wanted to cry a little. Wasn't this running competition the suggestion given by Yang Yu to Cai Xuanyi? Deepen the bond with the elves and understand the spiritual communication with the elves? Exactly the same. In the end, Yang Yu couldn't sleep even if he wanted to. There is a saying that after a month of perseverance, Yang Yu's physical and mental fitness have improved a lot. I can only say that life lies in exercise is still the truth. In addition to the progress of Yang Yu and Guatu Frog, Little Dream Demon and Mimikyokyu successively mastered the fairy-type move Magic Shine. When using the ghost-type move Shadow Ball, the Little Dream monster is like a dark mage. The power of the dark ghost is condensed, and the power of the move cannot be underestimated. If the Little Dream Demon uses the fairy-type move Magic Shine, it will have a beautiful girl transformation feeling. This move seems to be self-centered, spreading shining light towards the surroundings, and the Black Devil compared to the transformation, it is indeed a different style. When the time comes, the Little Dream Demon can rub the magic sparkle with his left hand and the shadow ball with his right hand. Ask the opponent whether the fairy ball dropped by the left hand, or the ghost ball by the right hand. The opponent's elf will answer whichever ball is thrown. It's perfect. A new batch of customized energy cubes have also arrived, which can be used to protect the throat. Although we have to prepare for heavy metal rock, we still need to do the necessary protection. Boli. Jigglypuff, who is being held in Day's hands, has indeed become a lot more cheerful recently, with more smiles on his face. Hey, this feeling of controlling students' test scores, I didn't expect it to be quite satisfying. However, I still hope to come back and give a course on elf battles in a while. Professor Yang Yu, a total of 20 students are here for the exchange this time. They have all arrived. Not to mention how happy Lily Sakura was. This time I followed Professor Yang Yu to North America. She brought so much money from home. It finally comes into play. As a teaching assistant here, not only can you not spend a penny, you can even get a salary. Lily Sakura is really difficult. Why is it so difficult to spend some money on Professor Yang Yu? In that case, let's get ready to go. Mifu. 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 Arriving at a new place, Hakran has new delicacies to eat. Pokemon's character master. Author, AI Ren Huo Shao. Chapter 854. Professor Yang Yu, someone is already targeting us. I know, I've seen this happen before and I'm used to it. Hearing Yang Yu's answer, Lily Ying's voice faltered, and her eyes were a little panicked. Isn't it? When the news came out that Yang Yu was flying to Sakura country, Lily Sakura immediately made arrangements and sent Nozawa Noburo to keep an eye on. But it seemed to be exposed immediately. Seeing Bai Hang looking a little overwhelmed, Yang Yu was stunned, waved his hand and said with a smile, "The matter is over. Besides, I have to thank you for arranging a guide to Sakura country." During Yang Yu's time in Sakura country, his life was really good. There is food and drink, and you can also abuse food and beat children. No, it should be said that there are elite monsters that you can kill at will. If there weren't so many elite monsters, it was still a question whether Xiao Baobao could be promoted to the gym level. Sakura country is a great place. We'll go next time. Professor Yang Yu, I'm sorry. Yang Yu nodded and did not mention this topic again. I'm still on the plane now, but I didn't expect that someone was already following me over there. But it doesn't matter, just like when he went to Sakura country, this time Yang Yu took 20 students to North America to study cooperation and exchange. On the course of Elf Battle, Hafa Elf University very much welcomed Yang Yu's visit. Everyone has a heroic plot. Catching the flame bird is a matter for those at the top of the Elf Alliance. Ordinary North American trainers still remain opposed to this matter. Things like Yang Yu's ability to defeat North America's King Dwight and protect the flame bird from returning safely to the secret realm of Sky City are tantamount to a heroic act of saving the world for most student trainers in North America. As for the high-level trainers of the North American Elf Alliance, they are also saving the world and saving the world from world peace. Regardless of them, our schedule is open and transparent. They can think whatever they like. Anyway, don't affect me and my rock band's participation in the Heat Rock contest, otherwise they will have a lot of juice. The aura that Yang Yu exudes with every gesture and the confidence that belongs to a top trainer is full of fatal attraction in Lily Ying's eyes. Okay, Professor Yang Yu. Only. Lily Sakura still looked stunned. Because Professor Yang Yu mentioned me and my rock band in his words, does that mean, Professor Yang Yu may also perform rock music in person? What an honor. You know, Lily Sakura has never heard Professor Yang Yu sing. She didn't expect that Professor Yang Yu not only has incredible qualifications as a trainer, but also has incredible abilities and style as a rock singer. This is so classy. Bai Huang thought that she would prepare a sum of money and invite some onlookers to cheer for Professor Yang Yu's performance. By the way, she would also prepare various support props, such as fluorescent sticks and LED brand name lights. Category. This is a must-have. Lily Sakura's heart began to be filled with anticipation. Yang Yu looked at Lily Ying's face, frowning and smiling, and shook his head. Woman, she changes her face so fast. Among the students who came with Yang Yu this time, Cai Xuanyi was also among them. Cai Xuanyi is the captain of 15 students from Yanjing Elf University, and the remaining 5 students are students who Yang Yu found from Yanjing Elf Academy of Music to study rock music. Coincidentally, except for the lack of a lead singer, there are 2 guitarists. Tong Yao is responsible for the main melody, Cao Yu is responsible for the harmony rhythm, and the remaining 3, Chen Leshan, Zhang Luzwilin, and Zhou Qin are respectively responsible for the bassist, drummer, and keyboard player. In fact, Yang Yu can also look for elves to become instrumentalists in a rock band, but it's just more convenient to find people. For this opportunity to go to North America for exchange, it can be said that the Music Elf Academy has really grabbed the quota. There are only 5 places in total, plus Yang Yu, a legendary trainer and professor at Yanjing Elf University, personally leads the team. No matter what kind of performance he will have in the music world in the future, at least Elf's strength has improved and he will not suffer any loss wherever he goes. This world is destined to be dominated by trainers, and the elves of most celebrities are still very strong, because some celebrities let their elves act as reliable bodyguards. Basically, the higher the status, the stronger the trainer. Not weak. If Yang Yu really wants to enter the domestic music scene, needless to say, everyone will have to give him face, and there will be no various hidden rules. Because Yang Yu's strength is here, who dares to face Yang Yu's giant Gyarados with king-level combat power? As the trainer's strength improves, the road can be much wider. These students from Yanjing Music Elf Academy were so excited that they still feel like they are in a dream environment. It's incredible, really incredible. I am actually lucky enough to get such an opportunity. My classmates in the school are all envious and jealous, and their tone of voice is all kinds of nonsense, and they are constantly belittling me. In fact, I am jealous to death in my heart. It feels so good. Their hearts floated along with the plane. They could float on the clouds for at least 10 more hours. In terms of music, these students from Yanjing Elf University are actually not bad. Among the 15 students, basically everyone can play an instrument, and even start at level 10, but they don't usually show it. Boss CAI, let's go this time. Do we really want to participate in the Heat Rock music competition? But our first stop is to go to Haifa Elf University. Oh my god, that's Haifa. I have never thought of visiting Haifa in my life. Hiss, it feels like a dream. SHH, please speak softly and don't disturb other passengers. It will be dark soon. You must sleep well, otherwise it will be very uncomfortable to get over jet lag. From the Music Elf Academy. CAOU, a rock girl, reminded. Although I play rock and roll, my thoughts are still very delicate. In fact, she was very excited, but someone had to come out and stop them. It just so happens that she is such a person. Come on, CAOU, when I received the news, who was running around on campus? The whole school knew it was you, and almost blew up the school's music room. Zhang Luzwilin nudged CAOU's shoulder. At this moment, everyone calmed down a little. After all, CAOU was right, it was really not good to make loud noises on the plane. In fact, Cai Swanyi had no idea what Professor Yang Yu was thinking, and what he was doing when he went to rock music. However, most of them had guessed that this was a trip for Professor Yang Yu to regain confidence for Jigglypuff. How to say? In fact, Professor Yang Yu can go to North America by himself, and there is no need to take them with him. Although everyone seems to be a bit not doing their job properly, when they signed up, everyone was indeed more excited than the other. There is even a strange situation where two people agree at the same time that neither of them will sign up, and the last two people appear on the final list at the same time. Well, I'm talking about the two really fragrant monsters sitting next to each other at the back. Fang Jian and Chen Bingkaiu. Since the theme is set on travel, it's a musical trip to learn communication and rock music. Speaking of which, rock music will also be helpful for Lucario's fighting training. After Cai Swanyi motioned for everyone to calm down and have a good rest, he began to think. Powerful music can increase the impact of Lucario's moves during training, and find a rhythm that you can master in the rhythm of the music. Professor Yang Yu's training thinking, sometimes it really seems to be in ordinary life, but we trainers just didn't notice it. I admire it. The air conditioner on the plane was a bit cold, so Yang Yu hugged Jigglypuff. The warm and fluffy hair on Jigglypuff's body made it particularly comfortable to hold. On the round pillow Jigglypuff, there is a Tijipai who curls up and sleeps peacefully. On top of Tijipai, there is also a little dream monster. What these students said, are they really here to travel? Why are you traveling? I'm obviously here to participate in the Heat Rock music competition. I like that competition. I like the Longlongian band the best. Then we can take the opportunity to go to the competition site and watch it together. Boss is a real person this time. That's right. Behind Yang Yu's students, two North American trainers were resting with squinted eyes, discussing softly with each other. Just in this peaceful atmosphere, the continent of North America gradually began to appear in the scenery outside the window. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 855. Hafa Elf University is an elf university with a long history in the elf world. Whether it is in the field of trainers, cultivators, or coordinators, it is the best in the world at a comprehensive level. After Yang Yu and his party got off the plane, they got on the bus to Hafa campus. Most of the elves seen on both sides of the street are actually not much different from the elves in China. However, among the flying elves, the warrior eagle and the initial form of the warrior eagle, the furry-headed eagle, have replaced Bobo, the house bird status of the BB bird and Bidio. It is not a simple matter for these little furry eagles flying in the city to successfully evolve into warrior eagles, because there is no evolutionary transition in the middle, and the trainer must have considerable patience. In the capital elf world, young trainers are very willing to pay a high amount of money to find the best elf eggs from the best breeding houses, and then start various Krypton gold. The gap in trainer strength here will become even more obvious. The most ordinary trainer can only make a fishing rod like Yang Yu and go to the river in Boston to catch a carp king casually. Go a little wilder and jump right into the river to catch one. Poppy. 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 When driving into the city, the prosperity here is indeed extraordinary. Bola. Above the building, you can see huge advertising screens, which are constantly showing advertisements. The most eye-catching one, and the one that is most attractive to the elf on Yang Yu's side, is an advertisement endorsed by Piggy Advertised. Hu Jing, what does this advertisement say? Yang Yu felt a little stretched at this time. However, his English could only be used to say hello like hello and hi. He really couldn't understand anything that was too high-end. This level of difficulty is naturally not a problem for Hu Jing. This is the latest chocolate bean developed by Calavan Technology Company that can enhance the cuteness of elves. By increasing the vitality of elves, it can maintain and enhance the cuteness of elves. Yang Yu nodded. No matter what the advertisement was talking about, Jigglypuff, Little Dream Demon, and Pork Bee were all staring at the big screen above. There was no doubt that these three elves wanted to. My own figure appeared on the big screen. The Little Dream Demon turned around and looked at Yang Yu expectantly. She pointed at herself with her little finger, and then pointed at the big screen. Poppy. Bola. The Little Dream Demon's sister, Tijipai, and some nervous Jigglypuff also focused their expectant eyes on Yang Yu. Yang Yu. Hu Jing, who was sitting behind Yang Yu, felt that her heart was about to melt. Such a cute little elf, three of them came as soon as they arrived. Such little eyes, who can withstand this? How could I have the heart to refuse? Does Professor Yang Yu want to be in an advertisement for fun? Lily Ying saw Yang Yu's thoughts. She basically understood Yang Yu's chubby. Because of this, Professor Yang Yu's image he also grew taller and taller. Those trainers in the capital world who put profits first, perhaps her former teacher Professor Tetsuya Koik, would definitely not waste their time on an elf with a natural flaw, especially for an elf like Jigglypuff. Defects on the vocal cords basically determine the value of breeding. Since Professor Yang Yu wanted to help Jigglypuff, Lily Ying naturally had no reason to refuse. Following Professor Yang Yu, she felt more like a person with flesh and blood and emotions. However, for Darkrai, who was also following Yang Yu, he felt that Yang Yu was not a human being. Yang Yu doesn't have a deep understanding of the world here, but he still has some basic knowledge. Oh? Do you have any ideas? Yang Yu now remembered that Lily Sakura's status in Sakura country was not ordinary. At least this status was extremely useful in the capital world. Little Dream Demon, Tijipai, and Jigglypuff all looked at Lily Sakura again. Lily Ying thought for a moment and said slowly, "Does Professor Yang Yu want to cover all the big screens here, or the whole of Boston?" Hu Jing. Sorry to bother you. This kind of discussion is beyond the scope of her understanding and acceptance. Sure enough, Lily Sakura is so damn rich. The whole of Boston. Yang Yu was really surprised. Seeing that Lily Ying was really not joking, it seemed that he had to get to know this assistant teacher again. This depends on Professor Yang Yu's needs. There may be some places in North America that advertising cannot cover, but most places can still be advertised, Lily Ying answered simply. The little dream demon really wants to float on Lily Sakura's hair and reach out to touch Lily Sakura's head like a little bayo. Well, the little dream demon has taken a liking to this rich elf. Yang Yu was speechless. This is too exaggerated. He coughed lightly to cover up the shock in his heart. We are new here, so we don't need to be so high profile. If we want to advertise all over North America, forget it. The expectant looks on the three elves began to dim. The next second, the eyes of the three of them suddenly brightened again. Let's find a lively neighborhood here in Boston. A place like a shopping mall. Since we have nothing to do, then we can open a silly dessert shop in Hafa School. Little Dream Demon, Jigglypuff, and Tijipai, you three must behave well when filming commercials. Dessert shop. Lily Ying's heart skipped a beat, and then her eyes brightened. Professor Yang Yu, if you have anything to say, just say it. Yang Yu could probably think of what Lily Ying wanted to ask, but this matter still had to be decided by Dede. As for the dessert shop, I would like to ask if I can become a shareholder, or join, something like that. If Lily Sakura's family members knew that she discussed business decisions with others in such a weak tone, their jaws would probably drop in shock. You must know that in the past, Lily Sakura was definitely known as a strong woman in the Sakura kingdom. As a direct descendant of a big family, how could she use such a soft and weak tone? Dedu, what do you think? I want to open a dessert shop in North America. Dede is still very happy. If we just want to open a dessert shop, we still don't have enough manpower. Because the hippo chefs have not yet developed in North America, it would be a good choice if there are partners to share the work. The Dede grilled fish shop itself can be opened as a franchise, just like Dede Wang Millie's Millie clothing store. If you want to join, you first need to be recognized by Dai Hippo. After becoming a partner, they can run the store together. Grrrrrrrr. In Lily Sakura's uneasy mood, she nodded blankly. The first Dede dessert shop naturally requires Dede to be the chief dessert maker for the time being. We have to stay in Hafa for at least more than a month, so in the future, we can arrange for some stay-at-home chefs to come over in advance and in an orderly manner. Now Lily Sakura, can naturally be trusted. Because Yang Yu trusted her. Hu Jing and Cai Swanyi beside them were confused as they listened. Didn't you say you came here for tourism? Why are you suddenly opening a dessert shop again? Could it be that studying cooperation, exchange, and tourism is just a cover-up for Professor Yang Yu? The real purpose is to open a dessert shop. Professor Yang Yu is awesome. Boss. You are really amazing. That trainer Yang Yu from China has really made a big move. In the neighborhood near the Boston Elf Center, he asked someone to put up an advertisement, and he was a big deal. Just cover the entire block of big screens. George hurried from the stairs straight to Mkinson's office. This is important information. I knew he must have some conspiracy. At this time, Mkinson immediately straightened his back seriously from a casual sitting position. put on his glasses, and took the information from George, the clerk. $50 million in advertising. I want to see what he wants to do. Boss, according to people over there, Yang Yu is going to open a dessert shop, George replied quickly. Dessert shop? What kind of dessert shop costs $50 million and places an advertisement directly in the lively neighborhood of the Elf Center? There is definitely a conspiracy here. I think this is definitely not an ordinary dessert shop. There must be something fishy in it. Human secrets. Mackensen looked extremely serious. This is a big move. Once Yang Yu accidentally causes trouble in North America, it will play into Mackensen's hands. Study. Cooperate. Communicate. The cunning trainer has finally revealed his tricks. Boss, when that dessert shop opens, do you want me to send someone to try it out in advance? If there are some things in this dessert shop that shouldn't be added, we will. George said mysteriously. Mackensen's eyes lit up. This George has a pretty flexible mind. Send people, you must send people, and send people in a big way. Let them pretend to be customers, and then try out that dessert shop. I think this must be a long-term project. In the past period of time, Yang Yu will definitely not he can do anything in the dessert shop, so, we have to send people to his dessert shop to buy desserts every day. The boss is wise. The boss is wise, George flattered Mackensen without hesitation. Money. The Elf Alliance has a lot of money. With just a little money, you can uncover the purpose behind trainer Yang Yu. It's not a good deal. Humph, as the old Chinese saying goes, I want to see what kind of desserts are sold in your dessert shop. Mackensen's eyes were fixed. I feel comfortable now. This Yang Yu is still too young. Pokemon's character master. Author, AI Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 856. It's my first time here and I need to adjust to the jet lag. The matter of getting Little Dreamer, Tijipai and Jigglypuff to prepare for filming commercials has been put on the agenda, but not now. What you have to do now is, enjoy the comfort that the bed brings. Rejarok, if there is no problem here, just feel free to start charging. I don't have to pay for it anyway. What I'm waiting for is your word. The room is safe and there are no other problems. Yang Yu wanted to adjust the time difference, and Lei Jilanglong and Luo Yan also wanted to adjust, but they were adjusting the voltage. The charging voltage in North America is somewhat different from that at home. Reggie Longlong Rockin needs to be familiar with the voltage environment here so that he can have a better training experience. When Yang Yu was resting, Fatty also started to rest. Because Jigglypuff needs Yang Yu to hold him in his arms before he can fall asleep. It's like a big warm pillow, with the air conditioner turned on, and hugging the big pillow, making him feel indescribably feeling. The little dream monster and Tijipai are still in good spirits. They have Day-Day in this room, and Day-Day can make snacks for them. In terms of the school's reception, Yang Yu's trainer strength lies here. In order to take into account the existence of two Gyarados among Professor Yang Yu's elves, Hafa Elf University also made preparations in advance and provided temporary manor accommodation. The student elves can also be called out for some air. But one thing I didn't take into account was that Yang Yu lived on the highest floor of the manor, and the students living below Yang Yu and downstairs would be a bit tragic if they were not careful. Because outside the window, you can see the terrifying body of the giant Gyarados coming towards you. It felt like the manor was going to collapse. If the room on the third floor where Yang Yu is located can be regarded as a shop, then the Salted Fish King outside the house is like the first customer of Day-Day Dessert Shop. When the Salted Fish King stands at attention, he can just put his head at the same level as the window on this floor. No need to fly, just stand on the ground in the most ordinary posture. Staying in the room, Xian made a large cream cake, the size of which was just a little smaller than the window. While Day-Day was making the cream cake, Xian stood outside, just like a customer waiting for a meal. Behind Xian, little Bayo Bayo was also lining up. The great beauty that flew in the sky for a while. Naturally, I came here to jump in line. When Dede is making cream cakes, he naturally makes 2 portions of the large portion and 1 portion of the small portion. The 2 large portions are for Cien Cien and Zaya Bayo Bayo respectively, and the small portion is for Damalai. On the first day of trial operation of Dede Dessert Shop, 3 free desserts were given away. The beautiful scene was tragic for the students downstairs from Yangyu. I can only close the curtains. Otherwise it would be too terrible. Beside the window, little Bang Bayo picked up Little Dream Dream and Tijipai, and Little Dream Dream and Tijipai took Mimikyu and Frostnake with them. They were enjoying the natural wind under the not-so-hot sunshine. After cleaning the kitchen utensils, he pulled up a chair and sat down by the window. Make a cup of tea and look at the scenery outside the window. If there are still guests who need it, Dede will also take out some of the dessert cakes that have just been made and frozen in the refrigerator in the house. The guy by the window was also thinking. In the first Dede dessert shop in North America, in addition to dessert cakes, there is also an ice cream counter. The Cream Fairy's fresh cream can be used to make a variety of sweets and delicacies, such as tiramisu, double-skinned milk, matcha, and black forest. Best of all, more frost milk fairies are needed to help. The fresh cream foamed by each cream fairy has its own unique fragrance. In this case, you may need to go to the Frost Milk Fairy base on Mount Everest. However, it is too early to say now, because Dede Dessert Shop is just the first store that has just opened. When subsequent stores are opened, it will not be too late to go to the Frost Milk Fairy base. Mif. An elf, blinded by the fresh cream, staggered his head out from beside Dudu. Needless to say, Hakran still used his own original way of eating and dived directly into the cream cake. Not to mention being blinded by the cream, even having her hair styled like a granny's is not an accident. Hakran at this moment. It's a bit like Kendall's grandpa's hair, and even some cream on his chin, and he can become someone else's sign. Blinking his eyes blankly, he used a spoon and a plate to skillfully help Hakran scrape off the cream that covered his eyes and served as his hair. For Hakran, the cream was naturally not to be wasted at all, and soon he started licking the plate. I don't know if Hakran's food is too delicious. Darkrai in the shadow couldn't help but want to follow him and lick the plate. Fortunately, reason told Darkrai that he seemed to be a god and could not lick the plate like Hakran. But having said that, Hakran ate like this because he had no hands. Even if Darkrai had hands, sometimes he would not be much better. For Yang Yu to go to another continent in the world, Darkrai was naturally happy to accept it. There are new places to play again. In my dream, I even heard Hakran say that there are new delicacies to eat in new places. When the nightmare god Darkrai heard this, he immediately became the hungry dream god style. Only. For some reason, Darkrai always felt like his eyelids were twitching. It shouldn't be. Shouldn't Full Moon Island be somewhere far away from the human world? Why do I have an ominous premonition? It seems that it is getting closer and closer to Cresselia, the god of dreams. Die, die, die. Isn't this terrifying human being going to sink Cresselia when he opens his mouth? Nightmare god Darkrai is very square now. This trip was supposed to be a super enjoyable trip, but when the nightmare god Clay thought about the end of this enjoyable trip, there would be a rock music competition. If Yang Yu opens his mouth, countless people in the audience will probably feel as if they have entered a nightmare. It would be strange if Cresselia, the god of dreams, didn't show up. However, for some reason, Darkrai even had a little expectation in his heart. No, no, I can only pray that this will never happen. I also want to play freely for a few more years. Darkrai took 2 big mouthfuls of cream with tears in his eyes. I want to make myself sweet to death. Happiness is also a day, and sadness is also a day. Darkrai simply threw all the troubles behind him. As long as he didn't think about it, the nightmare would not happen. At this moment, Jigglypuff is peacefully sleeping, having his own sweet dream. It has a stage. A stage where you can sing whenever you want. In order to make his dream come true, Jigglypuff has to work hard every day. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 857. It was a very comfortable sleep. I don't know if it was because he didn't have to pay to live in a luxurious manner, but Yang Yu felt that the fatigue caused by jet lag disappeared instantly. Look sideways. The little dream demon was lying on the pillow next to the bed, sleeping soundly. As if sensing the movement on Yang Yu's side, the little dream demon opened her hazy sleepy eyes, rubbed them, and then smiled. Like the little dream monster, Tajipai curled up into his balls and sunk into the soft pillow. He must have been resting very comfortably. The room was silent. Reggie Locke, who was next to the socket, also revealed his true body at this time, found a relaxed posture, and enjoyed the free electricity in the manner. Yeah. When Dede saw Yang Yu waking up, he stood up from the sofa in the living room. Hakalong, who was sleeping on Dede's neck, raised his head in confusion. Small wontons, poached eggs, another wonderful morning. Come here, everyone, come together and line up to get the food. We are in for a treat today. Professor Yang Yu Slowking made breakfast himself. Eat a meal of wontons from your hometown in this North American region. Although it has just arrived, it also has a different flavor. Good times, good times, good times. I didn't expect the clear soup to be so delicious. The aroma of green onions is in the soup. There are also a little bit of oil droplets on the soup. Turtle, the taste of these little wontons is so good. Then what do you think? Let me tell you, Professor Yang Yu's Dumb King is the dumb king in the food world. Do you understand what I mean? I understand, understand, understand. Amidst the bursts of squeaking wontons, gradually, all the students have had enough sleep and food, and are full of energy. We are going to visit the elf battle arena in Hafa this morning. You can have free time in the afternoon. Yang Yu briefly explained today's arrangements, and then said in a calm tone, if there is an official elf battle, I hope everyone will perform well, win as much as possible, do you understand? Yang Yu raised his voice. Clear. I have to say that these 5 rock music students from Yanjing Music Elf Academy have really loud voices and a rumbling vibration, which can have very good vocal expression on the stage. Since we are learning about cooperation and communication, there will naturally be a lot of elf battles involved. This is why Principal Luo suggested that Yang Yu bring stronger students before coming here. At the same time, when selecting students from the Conservatory of Music, he should only choose those who can play. Do you really think it's the ability to perform rock music? In the final analysis, the basis for establishing a foothold in this elf world is the strength of the trainer. In addition, these guys can sing, fight, and have very loud voices. Yang Yu feels that this wave of blood is profitable. It doesn't matter if you can't beat him. Yang Yu believes that with these rock music students from the Music Elf Academy here, he can never lose with this momentum. Of course, it's best to win more, otherwise, Yang Yu will have no choice but to go to Hafa's professor. It is impossible for Yang Yu to go out and fight the students in person this time. The professor will naturally fight the professor, so in order to prevent the professor over there from suffering, it is better to let the students suffer. Let young people do dangerous things. Of course, this premise is that the loss is too ugly. With Cai Xuanyi taking charge here, Yang Yu is still very relieved. Speaking of which, Lao Cai's elves should also take this opportunity to break through to the gym level. The foundation is too solid, and they still need to complete the basic sublimation through the improvement of strength. This elf university with a long history has produced many famous trainers. Among the current king trainers in North America, many of them studied here in their youth. There is a reason why this place can become the top elf university in the world. Yang Yu had never thought before that he would one day be a professor of the Elf Combat Department at Yanjing Elf University, nor had he thought that one day he would lead students to Hafa. Professor Yang Yu, want to open a dessert shop here? Professor Hafa Flsui, who was in contact with Yang Yu, was a gym-level trainer in his 60s. Judging from the grace of his temples and his appearance at this time, he must have been popular with girls when he was young. Sought after. Professor Freshwell is a respectable trainer. When he was young, he devoted himself to the research of marine environmental protection. Sometimes he would go to the sea with the team to clean up the marine garbage that was finally gathered by the warm and cold currents. Coincidentally, Professor Flashwell is also a trainer whose elves are mostly water elves. He also owns a gym-level Gyarados. In addition, there are also powerful elves such as Blastwas and water elves. Water spirit. Speaking of which, there is a certain connection between him and Yang Yu. Because as early as 40 years ago, he and Grandma Lin worked together for a period of time on the research of water elf moves. Later, Grandma Lin served as the dean and professor of the Water Elf Research Institute at Hangzhou Elf University, and they still had academic ties with each other. There were letters exchanged. Flazai had heard about this close disciple of Grandma Lin, but it was still difficult for him to connect the young man in front of him with the trainer who defeated King Dwight at the foot of Mount Fuji in Sakura country. Because, Yang Yu is too young. What he saw in real people and on the news was even more shocking to Professor Fleshway. At this moment, what Yang Yu asked about really made Professor Freshwell feel a little bald. How did this wonderful study, cooperation, and exchange have anything to do with the dessert shop? Could it be that Yang Yu came to Hafa to open a store? This is a very nonsensical thing. Fighting against elves has nothing to do with academics. In addition, one minute Yang Yu and Professor Flasby were discussing arrangements, and the next minute everything changed. It became a dessert shop. With such a quick change of topic, it's no wonder that Professor Freshwell was a little confused. Life always needs some fun, just like some trainers are keen to open a coffee shop of their own, and I like to open a dessert shop, and our dessert skills are still very good. Professor Flsway has time, you can also come and taste more. At this moment, Professor Freshwell suddenly exclaimed, I didn't expect Professor Yang Yu to have such a state of mind at such a young age. Indeed, there are quite a few private coffee shops in the school. When the dessert shop opens, I will definitely come and take a look. The road to being a trainer is indeed boring sometimes, because apart from training every day, you really need something interesting to spice up the boring training life. Professor Freshwell, who understood Yang Yu's thoughts, quickly made some contacts at the school and found out that several stores were indeed ready to change hands due to operational problems. This is very common in schools. Some shops are actually opened by student trainers, some are just for fun, and some are just wishful thinking. But you always have to practice in life. If you don't practice, you will never know that you have no talent in some aspects. Yang Yu and Professor Freshwell walked together on the Heidao campus. One was old and the other was young, and they were chatting quite happily. The campus is still lively and joyful. Yang Yu took a look at the shops and eliminated two smaller ones and one that was particularly large. What a dessert shop wants is a sense of warmth. If it is too big, it will easily lose a touch of comfort. If it is too small, this needs no explanation. How could no one come to this stupid dessert shop? There will definitely be a long queue, and if it is too small, it will not be able to accommodate too many customers. The ideal dessert shop is actually best located in the hollow of a big tree, or in a wooden house like Master Lao Hu's. Light a bright oil lamp to make the whole room feel warm. A dessert shop in a fairy tale. In the end, Yang Yu decided not to choose those stores. Dede was not satisfied, and Yang Yu was not satisfied either. It is better to find a big tree on the Hafa campus and build a new dessert shop under the big tree. Young man, you really dare to think. Flash V was speechless as he listened to Yang Yu's thoughts just now. I really don't regard myself as an outsider. I walked through the campus and found that some coffee shops were opened under big trees. They can do it, why can't I? Yang Yu said simply. They are because. Professor Yang Yu, it's done. A piece of cherry blossoms fell in the sky. What Lily Sakura said when she appeared instantly made Flash V confused again. In Professor Freshwell's eyes that were about to stare down, he saw the female student next to Yang Yu seeming to take out something. There is no doubt that this is a license issued directly by the school board. Yang Yu is allowed to adopt a tree on campus and open a dessert shop without damaging the environment around the tree. This is money ability. Professor Yang, the application seems to have been processed unexpectedly quickly. I feel like there are other forces adding fuel to the fire. Lily Ying whispered. Isn't it a friendly force? Yang Yu didn't expect Lily Ying to get the license so quickly. In this world of capital elves, it is true that money can make things worse, but it seems that there are more ghosts somewhere, and they actually help. Push together. Yang Yu was at a loss for a while, then waved his hand. Never mind, just think that we have done so many good things and good-hearted people came to help us. Lily Ying blinked her eyes. She still wanted to say something, but she seemed to understand what Professor Yang Yu meant, and suddenly her smile blossomed. Friendly forces. Where are the other friendly forces in North America? The only option is to bury friendly troops generously. Professor Freshwell thought for a while and shook his head. He didn't care what the school thought. He was just surprised at most, but he could get the school's license directly. That's not something ordinary people can do. However, Flaisvy only felt that Lily Sakura looked familiar, but he couldn't remember where he had seen her. After all, the Lily Sakura before and the Lily Sakura now are completely different people. Professor Freshwell may know her before, but the change is now. Lily Sakura, why does this name sound so familiar? Wait, how could it be her? She is not from Sakura country, how could she be with Professor Yang Yu? My lord, times have changed. After returning to the manor, Lily Ying revealed her previous guess. Professor Yang Yu, are you the senior officials of the Elf Alliance in North America? Yang Yu nodded. They should be the only ones. It's just that Yang Yu's expression is a little weird. When did the trainers from the North American Elf Alliance become so kind? When Yang Yu wanted to take a nap, someone came to bring him a pillow. Really, can there be more people like this? Yang Yu is waiting online, it's very urgent. No matter what they wanted to do, in the end, they helped us. If they hadn't taken action, maybe things wouldn't have gone so smoothly. Lily Sakura nodded, that's true. No matter what nonsense they are thinking, I just opened a dessert shop. I didn't expect that I could alert the people of the North American Elf Alliance. They think Professor Yang Yu's dessert shop is not as simple as it seems on the surface, right? Lily Sakura said with a smile. Yang Yu spread his hands. What can Yang Yu do? He is also desperate. Yang Yu can't run over and beg those people to stop thinking. He really just wants to open a dessert shop. Stop talking about this, I still want to thank you for taking such a trip. I'll give you this box of electromagnetic popping candies. I just made them yesterday. I'll put them in the refrigerator to keep them cold when I get back. It's been hot recently, so it will be easier. Change. Lily Ying's eyes lit up, thank you Professor Yang Yu. After Lily Ying left, Yang Yu began to continue thinking. The next step is to shoot a commercial. This is an elf commercial in the elf world. What ideas should be used? Could it be that Pang Ding, Class 2 Class 3 student, trainer Yang Yu brought you a cake from Dede Dessert Shop? Or just look again, and I'll drink you up if you look again. No gifts for the holidays this year, only silly desserts? Which company is better at making desserts? Looking for Hafa in North America, this doesn't rhyme, Bad review. Yang Yu scratched his head, a little anxious. Boss, it will be done over there in the future. They probably won't even think about it. In fact, we are the ones behind it. Hee. It's a pity that we have spent a lot of elf resources, but this elf resource will eventually be recovered from Yang Yu. I don't believe that such a young trainer can cultivate so many powerful elves. There must be a secret in him. Boss is wise. Such a secret must be hidden in an unknown corner, maybe in the shadow of trainer Yang Yu. Shadow? Ha ha ha, don't ghost elves usually hide in the trainer's shadow? Anyway, let's see what Yang Yu is playing and what he wants to play, and we will accompany him to the end. Here, but North America. Yes, this is our territory. Oh no, 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 it's the boss's territory. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 858. It is very easy to build a new dessert shop in the elf world. Especially don't forget that Dede also has a very magical move in his hand, Secret Power. In the battle between elves, Secret Power may not be as useful as moves with other attributes, but in daily life, this is a god-level move. The reason why we are looking for a big tree is because Dede can use Secret Power to open up a secret base on the treetop. This secret base can become the storage room of the dessert shop and can be used as a residence for future employees of the dessert shop. It is warm in winter and cool in summer, and can be added with various decorations to create your own living environment. This is a huge banyan tree. It is not difficult for Dede to build a small wooden house next to the banyan tree. With a huge banyan tree leaning against it, this wooden house dessert shop can be opened peacefully in the wind and rain without worrying about any safety issues. When it comes to the skill of building a tree house, Dede has actually maxed out his skills. When I was studying with Lao Hudi in Meteor Lake, Dede still wanted to build a bigger tree house for Lao Hudi, but it seemed that there were not such big trees in the forest to support the tree that Dede made. Room. Later, with the help of a stubborn elf-like little natural bird, Lao Hudi's treehouse was severely damaged, so Dede followed Lao Hudi to rebuild the treehouse with a hammer. Dede also personally designed the design of the dessert shop. The first branch of Dai Dai Grilled Fish Restaurant was constructed under Dai Dai's design. Now that wood is used to build a dessert shop, Dede can operate in more places. The center pattern of each round wooden table is the signature of the dessert shop. On the round bench, there are patterns of elf balls. Small items like this can be custom made by the factory. The construction of Dede Dessert Shop is in full swing, and Yang Yu's advertising team is also working hard to move forward. Only Yang Yu had never played with advertising, Jigglypuff had never played with it, and neither had Little Dream Demon or Tijipai. It's like someone who knows nothing about anything has stepped into a field that is confusing enough, and he can't do anything. Another rich man who comes to play with tickets. If only there were more stupid people like this, I wouldn't have to worry about it in this life. SHH, be gentle, be gentle. I am the boss after all. Give the boss some face. Then the boss will be unhappy and stop asking us to shoot commercials. That would be bad. You're right, let's discuss it in private. Here, if money clears the way, everything can be easily solved. Yang Yu even had a very exquisite advertising design plan on hand. At least at this point, he couldn't fool Beihuing, because the person who paid, was Beihuing. Lily Ying, who has a sharp eye, has an amazing talent in this business. Lily Ying has seen a lot about advertising, but she doesn't know what type of advertising plan Professor Yang Yu likes. In terms of decision-making, Professor Yang Yu seems to make seemingly unreasonable choices, but sometimes they often work wonders. In this aspect, Professor Yang Yu seems to be blessed by the mysterious Eastern power. It is mysterious and mysterious. Impossible things sometimes become possible with Professor Yang Yu. Yang Yu didn't understand advertising. He only had some tacky advertisements in his mind, so if he had to choose, he would let Little Dream Demon, Tijipai and Jigglypuff see what kind of plan they liked. It's a pity that Tijipai took one look and put these plans aside one by one, eliminating them all. Bully. Jigglypuff blinked at the side. He saw that these plans were good, so why not use them? From Jigglypuff's point of view, being able to watch the big screen is already a good experience. As for other things, it doesn't expect much. The Little Dream Demon understood Tigipai's thoughts, and then floated in front of Yang Yu, waving his hand to signal. These are all advertising solutions that can be bought with money. Since there are solutions that can be bought with money, there is no best solution. What Bojbi wants is the kind of advertising solution that cannot be bought with money. It's that simple. Yang Yu stared with two eyes, because Little Dream Demon, Tijipai and Jigglypuff were all standing in front of him. Could it be that he wanted Yang Yu to come up with this plan? In this conference room, the advertising design planners who provided the plan design all fixed their eyes on Yang Yu, hoping that Yang Yu would choose their plan. It is true that Yang Yu looked like a person who was just playing for fun in their eyes. But if you can choose a plan, the money will still keep coming. Who can have trouble with money? Unfortunately, Yang Yu didn't accept any of the plans. Because Tijipai among the elves doesn't like it, that's all. Thank you for your advertising planning. These plans are indeed very good, but we may not like them very much, Yang Yu said lightly. Then what are you going to do? If there are any deficiencies in the plan, we can modify it, Planner William said hurriedly. This is about their small money and a performance. Who doesn't like this kind of cheating? As long as you make some operations and increase some advertising costs within a reasonable range, it will not cause any resentment on Yang Yu's side and you can make more money. Wouldn't it be nice? But judging from Yang Yu's tone, he wanted to reject it directly. How can this be done? We are going to design the advertisements ourselves. These advertisements are indeed very good and outstanding, but there is a big gap between what we expected and wanted. Under Yang Yuyan's concise words, Bei Huang stood up and prepared to see off the guests. Everyone, please, thank you for coming, and the invitation funds for you will not be less. The smiles just gradually disappeared from the faces of these advertising planners. William was sulky in his heart, but he still maintained outward courtesy. After getting all the advertising plans back, he left the meeting room with the others without looking back. He knows a thing about hammer advertising. Damn, this is a waste of our time. I want to see how he wants to design it. He obviously doesn't know anything and is just gesticulating here. Does he understand that we are the professionals? Cursing voices sounded faintly from outside the door. Yang Yu shrugged. He didn't understand these bird songs anyway, and he couldn't understand the sound of the birds. However, when he saw that Lily Ying's expression was already a little sulky, Yang Yu waved his hand, indicating that Lily Ying didn't need to be so angry. An advertisement that Tijipai doesn't like will not be popular no matter how gorgeous it is, Yang Yun said calmly. There is no need to affect your mood. Yes, I lost my temper, Professor Yang Yu, Lily Ying replied repeatedly. Even though Yang Yu refused so happily, he was actually quite panicked. He was designing advertisements by himself. Yang Yu really only knew how to use a hammer. So, was there going to be a renaissance? I just rejected these people. It will be difficult to find advertising designers in the future. Or should I send an application to the advertising design masters of Sakura country? Lily Sakura was still worried. Relax a little. Hu Jing has already done some research to see how these ads actually affect the product. After she comes back from the research, she will be able to figure out something through big data. From these plans, Yang Yu saw some high-end things, but is it necessary for a dessert shop to be so fancy? At least in Yang Yu's subconscious mind, he still felt that Brain Platinum's advertisement was indeed very good. Even in the elf world, Yang Yu still remembered the melody. I won't accept any gifts during the holidays this year. If I do, I'll also receive platinum gold. This advertisement itself is just for Dream Demon, Tijipai, and Jigglypuff to play with. Yang Yu has this confidence. Even if the silly dessert shop does not need to advertise, it will soon become popular in Hafa. Advertising is just the icing on the cake. Lily Ying, you have to have confidence in Dai Dai Dessert Shop, just like Dai Dai Wang Millie's Millie Clothing Store. Even if there is no advertising, it can still be popular in the local area, Yang Yu reminded Lily Ying. This time, Lily Sakura's heart immediately became clear. Yes. The rise of Millie Clothing Store has always been a miracle in the business circle of Sakura country, a textbook miracle. The birth of every slow king in the world is accompanied by the emergence of a legend in the field, because they are all kings in this field. Whether it is the priest Slowpoke of Mount Fuji in Sakura country or the Slowpoke, whether it is the super tower physiotherapy Slowpoke of the demon city of China, or Yang Yu's gourmet Slowpoke, their evolution from Slowpoke to Slowpoke King is destined to be legendary. Start. Lily Sakura has been lucky enough to taste the desserts at Dai Dai Dessert Shop several times. They are delicious foods that can evoke wonderful memories. Therefore, the desserts sold at Dai Dai Dessert Shop are all absolutely top-notch delicious. Does Lily Sakura still need to worry? No need at all. As for advertising, it is something that Professor Yang Yu wants to give the elves to play with. In this way, there is no need to make it so serious and there is no need to worry. Speaking of which, it doesn't necessarily mean that our advertising is not good. At this time, Hu Jing's voice came from outside the door. Professor Yang Yu, I collected the data and came back. I collected a total of 83 businesses that have advertised on large screens in this elf center neighborhood. The effect of these ads is only 5%, that is, 4 companies have played an excellent role. The advertising effects and others are basically at an average level, and some ads don't even have much effect. Yang Yu was determined. Professional. Professionals cannot guarantee that advertising will be effective. Why not just happily let the elf have some fun? In the scene where the corner of the North American advertising director's mouth twitches as if he was poisoned by the advertisement, I don't know how he insisted on filming this advertisement. Come on, Jigglypuff baby. Do you want one too? All Yang Yu could think of was this earthy advertisement for Wang's Cao candy. However, Yang Yuxiang's plan has been agreed upon by Bojbi, so there must be no problem with this advertisement, right? Poppy. After Hu Jing and Lily Ying saw the final version of the advertisement, they probably doubted their lives. What I saw, was it really an advertisement? No matter what, this is what Yang Yu said. In the Boston Elf Center neighborhood, which can be regarded as the most luxurious in the entire elf world, an earthy advertisement quietly appeared on the big screen. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 859. Halls is an ordinary officer in the Boston Elf Alliance. He recently received a task from his superiors and was waiting for further instructions in the neighborhood near the Boston Elf Center. This mission is very strange. There is no need to keep an eye on any dangerous people, and there is no need to maintain public order, just, wait here. Wait for an ad to appear. Did you get caught in the door panel and send us out to watch the advertisements on the big screen here on the street? John, the ordinary clerk who came with Halls, couldn't help but complain. Throughout the whole day, I just stare at the advertisements on the big screen. No matter how gorgeous these advertisements are, I will still feel tired, not to mention, these advertisements are repeated over and over again, and I almost feel sick just looking at them. Kinson's pig head, he must have been kicked in the head by a donkey. What's the point of watching an advertisement? If it's not a salary, who will watch this kind of rubbish job? Halls shrugged and leaned in the coffee shop. He was sitting outside the window, looking at the clear large screen of the Elf Center outside the window. A boring advertisement, no matter how well shot it is, has no meaning whatsoever. That George guy is bad at everything, but he's a first-class flatterer. Otherwise, that old bastard Mackinson wouldn't think so highly of him, and he'll blame us. John was still complaining. Wait, it seems like there's a mission coming. Almost at the same time, Hall's and John's mobile phone screens lit up together. Staring at an advertisement for a dessert shop, and after waiting for the advertisement, go to the 12th banyan tree of Hatta Elf University, go to the dessert shop and get ready to queue up. What the hell is this mess? Halls even said, I want to throw my phone on the table. Halls, wait, John seemed to have discovered some interesting things. Isn't this just giving us paid leave? Halls, don't be angry. You see, the news said it, go to dessert. If you buy desserts at the store, the Elf Alliance will directly reimburse you. If you are angry, eat more of them then. If you don't want to make a living, who would be willing to live under someone else's roof? Halls just couldn't figure out why there was such a weird mission. I think this dessert shop should be the shop opened by Yang Yu, the trainer from China. I heard other people mention that Mackensen is keeping a close eye on this trainer. It seems that our mission should be keep an eye on this dessert shop, John analyzed briefly. After a while, the screens of their mobile phones became bright again. Keep an eye on this dessert shop. If you have any problems, report them in time. This is the notification from Mackensen, the president of the Boston Elf Alliance. Look, I was right, John smiled and spread his hands. Hall said nothing. He continued to stare at the large advertising screen in the Elf Center. Suddenly, Hall's tired expression suddenly cheered up. John, it seems it's starting. It started. What started? Come on, baby. The pedestrians walking in the Boston Elf Center were all stunned for a moment, because this sudden shout made them feel a little confused. Why are you shouting so loudly? There has never been such a direct shout in the Elf Center's advertisements, and even if it had, it would never have such an embarrassing sound. You may not believe it, but this sentence in the advertisement was composed by Yang Yu himself. Because it wasn't Yang Yupi's words, Little Dream Demon, Tijipai and Jigglypuff might not be able to understand them. After all, Yang Yu is the only one here who can use the power of waveguides to communicate with elves. As for the director of the commercial, I have had my mouth filled with dirt from this earthy advertisement, and I have almost lost my wits. How can I still be in the mood to give personal guidance? When the local North American people on the street looked up and subconsciously looked at the Elf Center and the screens on the streets, for a moment, a strange thought even arose in their hearts. Have we become aborigines? Why are there such ugly elf advertisements in the most prosperous elf heartland of Boston? In the advertisement, a little dream demon appeared. In the hand of the little dream demon, there was a small cake. Behind this little dream demon, there was also a JoJo-shaped ball. It's Tijipai. Tijipai wanted to eat the small cake in the hands of the little dream demon, but after being molested by the little dream demon ate it himself. Wow, it feels so uncomfortable all of a sudden. Especially when the little dream demon gave him a look arrogantly. But it seems the ad didn't end there. Because in the commercial, another Jigglypuff appeared. Jigglypuff wanted to eat too, and Jigglypuff was so greedy that he followed Tijipai to chase the little dream demon, wanting to eat the cream cake in the little dream demon's hand. However, the little dream demon ate it by himself again. Trainers all know that ghost elves like to play tricks on people and elves. Looking at the earthy advertising screen, Jigglypuff and Tijipai can only be seen but not eaten. I was so angry all of a sudden. I don't know why, but I'm just so angry. Plus the soul-infused come on, baby. Hiss. This extremely earthy advertisement will make you laugh out loud. Do you want to have a piece too? The final ending is of course a perfect ending. The elves happily share a small piece of cream cake together, but Jigglypuff and Tigepi eat the ones in their own hands, and their eyes are still staring at the cake in the hands of the elves opposite each other from time to time. Dessert shop, Hafa's new store has opened, address, the 12th banyan tree. The signboard of Day Dessert Shop is used throughout the entire advertisement. In the signboard of the dessert shop, there is also the image of a frosty milk fairy. In the future, every dessert shop in which the Day dessert chef will have at least one frosty milk fairy accompanying him. This is the Easter egg in the advertisement. No one noticed that the time and space on this street seemed to have been inexplicably still for more than 20 seconds, except for the cars driving on the road and the elves flying in the air. When the passers-by on the road reacted, only then did I realize that I was actually watching an elf advertisement right there. That was so cheesy. Is this advertisement filmed like this? Hall stood there stupidly, feeling that he had wasted another precious 30 seconds in his life. Although the elf was very cute, the dubbing of this Nema advertisement was too, what a fool. From the beginning to the end, there is an exaggerated "come on, baby." Even now, my mind seems to have been brainwashed by this very magical advertising line. Because this advertisement is rubbish. Is this the boring life of rich people? Holes, this is not just the big screen in the elf center. I saw people from other places reporting in the group. The big screens in the entire bustling area here have just been opened. Covered with such an advertisement, in less than 30 seconds, all the screens showed just such an advertisement for a dessert shop. John was also stunned on the spot. How much does this cost? Halls didn't know, and neither did John. Can't you spend so much money to shoot a better commercial? Such a simple and monotonous plot, and the 50-cent dubbing, it's just a joke, a joke. As the chief planner of this advertisement and a 50-cent dubbing contestant, Yang Yu will certainly not miss this overwhelming advertising bombardment. Little Dream Demon, Tigepi, and Jigglypuff were also following Yang Yu at this time, watching the VIP advertising viewing seats in the Elf Center, watching the advertisements that they participated in and endorsed in the entire Elf Center neighborhood. Such a feeling. It's really good. For Jigglypuff, it was a first screen experience that he had never dreamed of, and being able to see himself on so many big screens. A small figure with big dreams. Next, we have to continue climbing step by step. Next time you shoot a commercial, make sure someone else invites Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff wants to be a big star. The 20 students behind Yang Yu who came together watched Professor Yang Yu book an entire block. The final advertisement was so crude that they even thought they were back when they were 4 or 5 years old. However, even at that time, they had never seen such an old-fashioned advertisement. Professor Yang Yu's aesthetics and thinking are simply amazing. How's it going? Is it okay? Yang Yu was still quite smug in his heart. After all, I didn't even expect to be able to shoot it. Yang Yu really has no talent in this elf advertisement. It was almost a blind shot, but fortunately, the performance of Little Dreamer, Tigepi, and Jigglypuff in the camera was very good, and their cuteness made up for many shortcomings, so that the advertisement could be screened smoothly. After listening to Professor Yang Yu's words, Hu Jing no longer knew how to complain. Professor Yang Yu has been shameless for a long time, but having said that, for some reason, Hu Jing took one look at this advertisement and immediately remembered the line "come on, baby" deeply in her mind, and even the more I try to forget it, the clearer the tone and advertising lines become. Simply a magical horse. Could it be? Hu Jing was shocked. She discovered a very important issue. She had seen so many advertisements before. Even if she read them many times, some advertisements were difficult to remember, but Professor Yang Yu's advertisement. At this moment, Bei Huang already admired her deeply. She never thought that Professor Yang Yu had such incredible and unique insights and vision in elf advertisements. This whole plan was basically thought up by Professor Yang Yu himself. Because of this, Lily Ying felt even more incredible. In the midst of these exquisite advertisements that can easily cause aesthetic fatigue, an extremely down-to-earth advertisement suddenly appears, like standing out from the crowd. The contrast is instantaneous. In this way, people will notice this and the unique advertising, coupled with the scale of the advertising. The more Lily Sakura thought about it, the more frightened she became, and the more she thought about it, the more admired she became. Poppy. Seeing Tajapai cheering for joy, there is no doubt that he is safe. At the same time, in addition to Yang Yu's group, there were also a group of people opening champagne to celebrate. Come on, who gave them the courage to release this rubbish advertisement? It's a complete joke. William, the planner of Boston Advertising Company in North America, was just as gloating as the people in the industry. Let's go to Hoffa and see how that dessert shop, closed down step by step.